Hey guys, Dov here, back with another underrated unit, and today I'm coming at you with one of my old favorites, the Lizard Limos, the Cold One Chariots for the Dark Elves. Most people have forgotten about these guys since, Scourge Runners came out, since they're a little bit cheaper and they do more missile damage, but Cold One Chariots are a little bit tankier in some ways. They've got 110 armor. They've also got great armor-piercing melee damage and a decent charge bonus, making them a much more potent melee chariot here. Falcon's taken 3 against the Tomb Kings. We've also got a bunch of Corsairs under the banner of, what is this? I forget. I don't remember the Dark Elf factions. Argoneth, that's right. We've got some Dark Riders as well on the Tomb King side. Kalita leading the way. We've got some spooky snakes here. Burning Head already been dropped, but I wanted to highlight these Sepulchral Stalkers in the front line getting charged by the Chariots. This is not something you would really think about Chariots doing, is charging monstrous infantry that have charge defense against large, anti-large, and armor-piercing. But Chariots are going to mass charge in here and actually just win straight up because of their massive numbers. The fact that the Sepulchral Stalkers don't actually hit that hard. They don't have that great a melee defense at the end of the day. And yeah, that's going to be kind of a good demonstration of what makes Cold One Chariots so good is that, especially with spear support, they are like almost anti-large chariots in a way, because they have great armor-piercing damage. They're not going to do amazing against single entities, but certainly against both monstrous infantry and cavalry, and obviously any sort of infantry, they're going to do very, very well. They do enrage, which is not the biggest issue in the world. You can see all 3 of them have taken a considerable amount of HP damage, but none of them have enraged yet. They also have great mass, so you can see like Kalita's kind of blocked in here by several of them. Yeah, she's not going to be able to move super effectively. She's only going to be able to disengage this one direction, right? So a lot of advantages to them. You can see them actually just bullying through. Oh man, they have enough mass to just punch aside those Sepulchral Stalkers. That is actually very impressive. Meanwhile, if we take a look here, Corsairs blending up some skeletons. The Dark Riders getting pretty aggressive, going after, I guess, getting charged by the Carrion, rather. Over here, these Witch Elves, or these 2 Death Hags, rather, got a hold of some Horsemen, something. I don't know. There's other stuff happening in other places, but mainly we're concerned about the Chariots, right? And the fact that these Chariots are largely beating monstrous infantry, again here, supporting these Corsairs in this engagement, and they're able to kind of pull away, reassess. The great thing, too, is all the time they're continuing to use these armor-piercing crossbows. So in a pinch, you can use them to shoot at specific targets, but generally the best thing to do is just leave them on fire at will. They're going to be getting value regardless. But like right here, you could, in theory, just pull up in a surround, go on, skirmish, or not necessarily skirmish mode, but missile attack mode, I guess. And all kind of surround mass fire on these Sepulchral Stalkers, or alternately you can also charge them. That's the thing about the Cold One Chariot, is it's a much better hybrid, missile melee chariot, whereas the Scourge Runner, faster and more dedicated to missile attacks. Definitely the Cold One Chariot's pretty decent. You can see even still, just barely, I think, this one may have been enraged, but all of them, despite all of the HP damage taken, really haven't been enraged too much, been able to control them fairly effectively. See the Shabti over here grinding up some Black Ark Corsairs, but the summon is just about worn off. Supreme Sorceress Lore of Fire here has been very aggressive, taking quite a bit of damage, but all things considered, it's a pretty quick victory for the Tomb Kings. I've got some more Chariot action to show you guys, so sit tight. But yeah, the spearheads here, the sad spears, hold the line against these skeletons. Nekara Horsemen. Beautiful side-shotting fireball there. Against old Kalita. She is now crumbling from army losses, and that is very quickly going to be it. So, very nicely done. And again, not something you would expect necessarily from these Chariots, but the fact that they were able to run in and just deck those Sepulchral Stalkers right off the bat, do quite a bit of damage to them, just shut them down, and then obviously all of this infantry, I mean, just gets hard countered here by these Cold One Chariots, and they're excellent units overall in that role. A great kind of hybrid utility. We'll see more of them in just a minute. 116 kills for the Supreme Sorceress Lord of Fire. Pretty nice. 88 for Dread Spears as well. Not bad at all. 85 there. I must have got a hold of some skeletons. Yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to that next replay. This time, up against Bretonnia, we've got the Charybdis here. Morathi on foot with a couple of K-Knight Assassins, which means you know what time it is. Time to spam some Soul Stealer effects. Also got plenty of Dread Spears. So some anti-large, anti-infantry mix. Even got a couple of repeater crossbows as well. And yeah, for Bretonnia, it's basically a Bretonnia build. You've got one Trebuchet, a Lewin up in the air, companions, questing knights, two more questing knights, a Damsel Lore of Life, the Holy Wardens, some peasant archers, plenty of men-at-arms, mobs. So yeah, Bretonian build, as they say. Also got the Slaanesh Harvesters hidden in the woods over there, just to max out on Soul Stealer effects. And the idea here is we can try and force the Cav to blob up around either the Charybdis, around, you know, the Cold One Chariots. Going to try and play pretty aggressively with them, and then force a big Soul Stealer, you know, effect. Try and get multiple cavalry units at once. I have enough Soul Stealer effects that regardless I can try and just win that way, but there's lots of juicy infantry, lots of peasants for me to try and run over here, so let's get to it. We'll roll along with the lizard limos as they beautifully kind of take in the scenery of Bretonnia here. A nice leisurely vacation. No doubt Black Ark chilling off the coast, providing some benefits and all that. The peasant archers are going to fire in a little bit here. Juicy mobs looking like a nice quick hit and run target on the corner. And here come the questing knights just as hoped. We're going to go ahead and pull away there, or at least attempt to. Take a little bit of damage from Lewin on the charge, but decide to actually not go ahead and throw the Soul Stealer effects quite yet. Red Legion, my opponent here, going to pull away. We do get some shots from the Spear crossbows there. Likewise, thrown an Assassin's Trophy, probably a little bit prematurely on Lewin, but just to kind of make him think twice about diving down on here. We're going to move up this mobile elf box, try and slam into the center here. Some Dread Spears already been dealt with, but the Charybdis is going to be the front and center kind of distraction focus. Both the Charybdis and the Chariots can act in the same way to try and sort of force Soul Stealer blobs here, and here's one already. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. Earthblood being used in response there, just all of the effects. Here comes the K-Knight Assassin as well. You can see, yeah, Questing Knight's taking a ton of damage here. One of the units already been absolutely ransacked, but if we look, where's the actual Chariots? They're in the back now, just about to be activated for anti-infantry duty. As it is, though, this Charybdis just gets absolutely shreked. We do respond by taking out two Questing Knights. In terms of value, that's probably about an even trade. But the problem is that, you know, from an army standpoint, those two Questing Knights, I mean, there's one more unit of Questing Knights, but you can see Celestia's Harvesters in the back taking out the Trebuchet. There's nothing really to protect at this point from the Chariots. Now that those Knights have been dealt with, there's no mass whatsoever to protect all of this infantry from just getting ran over here. So the Chariots are now going to go to town, as they say. I believe that is the technical term. Lewin comes over here, suddenly finds himself surrounded. I don't necessarily want to take this fight. Definitely want to use these Chariots to just keep rolling. But we're going to keep it close as they keep moving. Those of you guys who want to learn how to use Chariots, basically the key is to try and keep them moving as much as possible. And I'm honestly not doing that great of a job at that here. Still kind of getting a little bit bogged down. But still, I mean, they've got anti-infantry and enough you know, stats and everything that they can kind of push. At this point, Red Legion's going to throw in the towel, which is understandable. I mean, he still had, like, Lewin in decent shape, but you can see all of this peasant force is just getting rolled by those Chariots, so definitely understandable. And yeah, again, the Chariots kind of showing their hybrid utility role there. You didn't see them fight necessarily directly, the cavalry in that specific game, but still just kind of providing that anti-infantry option, which is not something you would typically think of against Bretonnia, right? Like, they are a cav faction. Most people wouldn't think, hey, let's bring a Chariot against Bretonnia. But because of the hybrid utility and the fact that you can use them more aggressively than the Scourge Runners, they just sort of open up some different options, right? With the Scourge Runners, against heavy cavalry factions, you are very much limited to mostly just trying to kite, because you can't really fight the cavalry and melee with the Scourge Runners so much. But with the Cold One Chariots, definitely with spear support you can. And if you go back and watch, if you look up Lizard Limo, probably you'll find some of my older videos featuring the Cold One Chariots. If you can find some of the videos I think I have some where they, like, beat a unit of, was it Grail Knights or Dragon Princes? It was literally like one Dread Spear plus one Cold One Chariot beat that elite cavalry, something like that. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty solid overall. And yeah, we've had two pretty, I might say, one-sided games showcasing them here. I've got one more sort of more fun game to show you featuring them. So sit tight and let's get to that. This time under the banner of Hargoneth, which I have to say definitely looks the best on the Lizard Limos. What can counter armor-piercing chariots? Armor-piercing elf chariots? Well, other armor-piercing elf chariots. So here comes Alistair the White Lion and his life mage friend. They've got some more lion chariots here. Omen of Assyrian up in the air. We've got Delirian Reavers for Hogwarts Pride and some additional war lions over there. For Falcons, yeah, forces of, what is this, Hargoneth? We've got more Cold One Knights, Corsairs, yes, attending cavalry, Beastcaster, Dread Spears, but we're mostly interested in the Chariot on Chariot action here. Phoenix also. But right off the bat, you can see that the Life Mage is in a bit of a pickle. Hellebrand leading the way, going to drop her Red Mist, go ahead and get the Dark Elves riled up for party time. And that is going to be a nice timing push there. You can see right off the bat already some of those Reavers being dealt with, but Hogwarts Pride come in here and do a ton of damage immediately to the Cold One Chariot, which is really nice to see. You can see over here, Illyrian Reavers there trying to pull away, trying to stay mobile as much as they can. They're going to be one of the squishier units in this. The fact that Falcon's actually got some infantry to chew on is definitely working as his advantage. The Life Mage gets routed off very early on here as well, but she'll probably come back, be able to heal herself back up, as long as that, you know, Manticore doesn't get a hold of her. But a really nice, what is this, Phoenix drop? I don't know. What the Phoenix Feces is the bombs, right? Still haven't come up with a good name for that, or maybe one of you has and I've just forgotten. But anyway, Phoenix now going to drop down and try and take out Hellebrand. Hellebrand, I believe, has a pretty good amount of physical resistance, but that obviously gets countered by the magic damage of the Omens. That's a pretty good play there. Omen does have to be careful, though. Manticore being summoned up. Other Manticore comes in for some support over here. This Cold One Chariot getting absolutely decked by, I believe this is Alistair. Nope, it's just a regular Lion Chariot. In combat here, playing bumper cars. Pretty thematic. Over here we've got the, so this is Alistair right here, getting chased by a Manticore. Now, he is a very potent single-entity chariot. 420 weapon strength, 68 charge bonus. It will take some damage from the Manticore here, but he has enough stats to mostly resist that. The Omen of Assyrian also fighting Crone Hellebrand, doing okay. It's a little bit of a pitched engagement, but this Archmage Lore of Life getting danger close. Armor of the Stars, stock and unspottable comes in, takes a hit from Hellebrand. She does get an Earthblood off, though. I'm not sure 100% who that healed. It did get Alistair, it looks like. And also these Cold One Chariots, so that's pretty nice. Got herself with it as well, so that's actually a really efficient Earthblood, I have to say. Be able to screen that Manticore here with these Illyrian Reavers. Another damage spike, though. Big AoE attack buff from Hellebrand. She herself is quite a potent combatant, up to 96 melee attack with that buff. Almost 500 weapon strength, 100 charge bonus on the horse. Wow, I forgot how potent she is on horseback. And on foot, too, I think, actually. But anyway, Alistair gets routed off here, as do many of the other Lion Chariots. We've still got one more Lion Chariot here, coming in mostly full health. I don't know if they were forgotten about or what, held in tactical reserve exactly, but it's very, very close, although things are definitely starting to tell in the Dark Elves' favor at this point. Still a bit of healing out there for Alistair. Upgraded Earthblood gonna give him some good HP. But yeah, lack of range tools, and the, oh man, that'll be effective though. Right on those infantry as Falcon's kind of caught, not paying 100% attention there, and yeah, might lead to a massive terror rout as well. This Omen of Assyrian dropping down, goes directly after Hellebrand. Unfortunately, whiffs on a couple of attack animations there, but here comes the Chariot and everything. Coming in for a rear charge, trying to tear route away those dread spears if they can, but the terror will not pop. Looks like maybe it will pop on a couple of them. The Cold One Chariots, ooh, and the Phoenix actually explodes there. The Cold One Chariots hold their leadership for the time being. Alistair makes his final stand, heroic killing low active, but the rest of the High Elf forces are pretty much done. Dark Riders with the crossbows are able to carry there and finish off the mage, but actually Alistair's still going. He routes off this entire force here single-handedly, and here comes more bumper cars. These Lion Chariots charging this Cold One Chariot. Oh man, I thought they were actually going to kill one of the models. That would have been hilarious. Oh man, and Alistair gets detonated by a point-blank miscasted Amber Spear that will end his day. At the same time, though, these Lion Chariots are still fighting, and look at this, they're pushing off this massive force here. This Lion Chariot also still fighting. These other Cold One Chariots going to swing out, go after these Black Ark Corsairs. Beautiful charge there, does a ton of damage. Yeah, this Lion Chariot, if it can chase off this entire force here, would be very nice, but absolute disaster. This Dark Rider with the Pewter Crossbow comes back from route. Alright, as this Chariot's just about to get in range, oh man, they get like one little volley off, and then they actually route again. Nice for the High Elves. Oh man, this is super close, guys. Super close. This Lion Chariot, 109 kills, 2 XP chevrons. This other Lion Chariot, 61 kills, so yeah, don't forget about the Lion Chariots. I know you guys have been seeing a lot more of them recently with the DLC, but maybe a little bit of an issue here. All these troops come back from route. The spears especially could be very key in the late game here. Another Amber Spear comes through. Lion Chariots are trying to chase and corner these Dark Riders on the edge of the map, but fortunately the angle's just not quite there. And as we fast forward, you can see that the Dark Elf ranged will start to tell. And how about this? There's still one more Lizard Limo, and of course, 1 point of superiority with the Lizard Limo over the Lion Chariots as a ranged attack. So it can just sit here. This driver on the back. Oh, there's an Amber Spear. Nice hit out in the distance. And a little multi-shot crossbow. Applies that ranged attack debuff, and there's the game. So big thanks to Falcon for the replays. Yeah, Cold One Chariots, definitely a unit that you should not discount. Don't automatically assume that it's all about the Scourge Runners. Certainly Scourge Runners, especially in certain matchups, you don't necessarily need the armor piercing and melee so much. It can be very effective. The extra speed, the extra anti-large damage on the missile attacks, they're just more of a sort of a different focused unit, right? But the Cold One Chariot's definitely a legit armor piercing melee chariot. That have that addition of the ranged attack sort of as a bonus. Can be used in a multitude of roles, and I would have to say, like many armor-piercing chariots, is more versatile than you would initially think, and that can broadly be applied to most of the armor-piercing chariots. Like we saw here, the Lion Chariots obviously did very well. Stuff like even the Orc Boar Chariot, like the Gore Beast, the Razor Gore, stuff like that. Those armor-piercing chariots with spear support and with other mobile support can be used in different roles that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And of course, the Cold One Chariot having a ranged attack just gives it one more extra layer of versatility. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like that sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.